With this, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Ghanshyam Singh. Dr. Ghanshyam Singh. Uh, with an experience of over 18 years in Indian and international markets for supply chain, procurement, and logistics, Dr. Ghanshyam is currently heading the supply chain and purchase division at Cosmo Films Limited. He has been involved in developing supply chain, procurement, and logistics processes, strategies, and structures for the company's domestic and international operations. A doctorate in philosophy and an Indian School of Business alumni, he has worked across different industries like petrochemicals, chemicals, packaging, quick service restaurants, FMCG, food and beverages, cold chain, retail, and third party logistics to integrate supply chain operations with the overall business operating strategy to deliver strong business results. A reputed supply chain and logistics professional, Dr. Ghanshyam has bagged several accolades, including the CII Scale Award, Logistics and Supply Chain Award by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Young Supply Chain Excellence by NASSCOM, Supply Chain Excellence Award by CNBC TV18, among others. He is also an invited speaker at various supply chain conferences at both national and international levels and heads several sessions organized by publications like CNBC. We welcome you, Dr. Ghanshyam. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Shivani. May I request to give the right to share the file?
So you should be able to share the presentation now.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, sir. We
My,
can see.
yeah, okay. Thanks, Shivani, for bringing me here, and good afternoon, all the viewers. Today is a great topic which we are discussing. So I'll just give a brief about industry outlook. In a world where almost 96% of the manufacturing goods depend on chemicals in one way or another way, there are ample opportunities for chemical companies to grow because the demand is quite high. Chemical manufacturing striving to secure a large share in the marketplace has created an extremely competitive battleground. Several industry trends, protectionist trade, policies, tariff war, industry consolidation are also pushing businesses to adopt new ways to stand out. As these trends permeates the chemical industry, mainly businesses are remodeling to drive growth and profitability. At the core of this transformation is the need to build resilience with the ability to adapt, digitize, and modernize. Safety always remains at a high priority when it comes to chemical. Chemical companies see their supply chain playing a crucial role in their business transformation, whether they need to support continuous production line with effective storage solution, bringing good margins with cost-effective supply chains. It also takes care of the safety and compliance as chemical business is highly required safety and compliance which government imposed. So with this, I'll start my presentation on bringing flexibility in the chemical supply chain. First of all, why do we need flexible supply chain? As we know, the business dynamics are changing. The way we used to do the business 5 years, 10 years ago, now it's altogether different. Now, companies don't have a boundary that they will go in a particular geography. Now they have a world to play. So they have an opportunity to scale, which bring complexity in the supply chain system. Second, post-COVID, there is an increase in cost of some of the raw material, which is leading again a big challenge. And there is a geopolitical situation which we are aware of. that leads to the impact on the cost. Third, most of the chemical are now becoming commoditized. When something becomes commoditized, the supply chain plays a very important role because commodity buying almost remains same. It's that how you move the material, how you process it, and what cost you are delivering it. So that's create a challenge. Last but not least is the unpredictable demands. See, predicting demands in a current scenario is quite challenging because there are multiple factors which is playing a role. Market dynamics play a role. Economic situations in global market is impacting the demands. So these are some of the challenges which are requiring flexibility in supply chain. So just to showcase in case of a demand and an order, which I'm sure you must have seen in one way or other way in different forums. So there is a demand, but there is a fluctuation in order or production at a production site. Why? Because there is a multiple channels involved in holding and ordering of the product. So whether it's a distributor, trader, some of the companies. So they hold and then consume. So they have their own norms, which are creating a bullwhip effect in the entire demand planning system. So that created a uncertainty in the system because sometimes you will have a very high demand, but sometimes you don't have a demand. So that's created challenges in the supply chain system. COVID-19 taught us so many things. Like we have seen that there were several supply chain disruptions. Plants shut down because manpower was not available, sufficient manpower was not available. There is a cash flow issues happen because the prices was going up and up for the material, and the fund flow was a big challenge because lots of money was getting blocked in buying the material. Third, the transparency in the supply chain system because earlier what was happening, tier 1 was working in their own boundary, tier 2 was working in their own boundary in terms of sourcing. Now that type of boundary was creating a lots of challenges during COVID time. Second, visibility was uncertain because, for example, if we are buying something from Europe or China, not sure what will happen in a COVID time, whether they will be all of a sudden lockdown, all of a sudden some issue happen. Third is a fragile production and distribution. Everyone knows that 1.5 years ago there is a heavy storm in the US West Coast, so which created a lots of issue in the supply chain network. Next is inability to react flexibility because what happened before COVID, there was a certain way of working. During COVID, all of the sudden entire thing has changed. And when something change is happening, all of the sudden there is a disruption in entire network. So that was the challenge. And last but not least, the inadequate supply chain risk management contingency plan because what was happening, if for example, if some company is buying from some country, like suppose China or Europe, so they were dependent on a particular country. But during COVID, the plant was not running. Their plant was not running. There is a shipping issues and all those stuff happen, which leads to disruption in the entire supply chain network. Why we need a flexibility in supply chain and to be very specific in the chemical industry? Because if we are flexible, we can drive profitability because nowadays agility, flexibility is required because demand uncertainty is still there, market is moving down and down. The innovation and digitalization. So innovation, not only innovating in terms of a product, innovating in terms of the processes. So the processes which we will follow for decades doesn't work now. So we have to keep on innovating, keeping in mind the current market scenarios, keeping in mind the geopolitical situations happening, keeping in mind the economics, which is slightly challenging nowadays, and digitization, obviously. Now, this is the world of digitization. So if we will not follow, we will not sustain. So how we can bring the technology in each and every steps, which gives more visibility, more visibility give the more views to improve the system. So if we have a visibility, we know where are the gaps, we can improve. If we don't have a visibility, we will not be able to improve them. Next is the customer loyalty. See, in last 2 years, we have seen that before COVID, there was a customer loyalty was defined in certain ways, but in last 2 years, topmost priority was delivering the material. See, first of all, you have to deliver the material, then only you can add on something. So delivering the material on time, every time, and in full was a big challenge. So that's why the flexibility is needed, so that customer can think that the particular supply is reliable. So they are giving stock as per their need whenever they want. Integrated technologies. See, other different companies are using a different technologies, but they are working together for the product. So for example, if I need to make a one item, there is a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, multiple items. It's a packaging material is going, raw material is going, some kind of, if I'm making a food product, some flavors are going, multiple things are getting involved. So if we are not integrating the communication system through technology, then there are chances when we have a A item which is very high, but B item which is required for completing that product is not available because there is no integration of technology. Last but not least, the optimization. So optimization means having a right price for what we do. It doesn't mean that having the low price, it means the right price for all the steps of the supply chain. So this is the flow for the supply chain planning system. So I'll start from demand sensing. See, everything starts from a demand. How much accuracy nowadays is a bit challenging, but at least we have some quantitative and qualitative view to suggest that what need to be done in this month or next month. So demand sensing nowadays, multiple tools are available which give you the insight what is happening. If your product is depend on the global market, can give you the global outlook, or if your product is country specific dependent, then you can get an insight. Second is the supply chain collaboration. So working together so that everyone can achieve their goal. Next is the dynamic inventory management. See, earlier what used to have, we have a certain safety stock and then we were keeping some stock based on the demands. But now it's all of a sudden, the graph which I showed earlier, it means all of a sudden there's a huge demand. Might be because one country which was buying from other country having a lockdown and they moved their orders to the India. So there's all of a sudden high demand and all of a sudden there's a low demand. So the inventory management plays a very, very important role nowadays because the fluctuation in demand is very, very high. Next is sales and operation, profit, sales and operation, which we know that whatever we are doing, are we getting the profit in that or not? The sales and operation is aligned. See what happened that operation sales is forecasting something, and when there is a delay in the communication to the operation, then there will be a problem. Because, for example, if sales feel that the growth will be 20% for the next month, but operation came to know after a week or 2 weeks, they will have a challenge because they were producing based on the previous plans. Supply chain resilience is reducing the risk. So whatever stages of product delivery you have, how you can reduce the risk. So analyzing each and every step. So if I say that you need to reduce the risk on the product, it's difficult to reduce the risk because you have to go in detail and understand that what are the steps which is making ordering to the delivery. So order to delivery cycle, what are the different steps? So we have to analyze each and every steps, understand what is the risk, what are the challenges. For example, if my sourcing is from a single source, then it's a challenge. We need to identify the alternate source. Nowadays, the sourcing is from a one country or a multi-country. That also we need to see. So that comes under supply chain resilience. And the next is the supply chain control tower. So is there any control tower which is controlling all the steps? Because supply chain is about the movement. So when there is something moving, it's always bring challenges in the entire network. So there should be control tower who track each and every steps which help in reducing the errors. Heard a lot about the integration, collaboration. Now the world is about the synchronization. So I mean about synchronization is that are we synchronizing the information? Does whatever happening in my company, does my supplier know about it or not? So that's the era where we need to work together so that both get benefited. So this is not the world to have a win or lose. It's a world of having a win-win. So there is a synchronization? Are we sharing the technology? Are we sharing the understanding about the market? What is happening in the market? Are we informing on time so that supply is ready to fulfill your requirements? If there's an increase in demand, they should know. If there's a decrease in demand, they should know. Otherwise, what will happen? He will have a losses, which will ultimately pass on to the product. So some of the benefits which I feel is having a flexibility in supply chain is the improved operational performance. So if there is a right visibility available with the operations, they can perform well. They will have a very less changeover of product. There will be a more flexibility because they will know that what they need to be do. Data visibility, each and every step we are able to see by having a proper technology, by having a proper communication. Next is the effective of storage solution. So Mr. Raju was mentioning about the storage. See, we have seen that in our warehouses, sometimes there is a huge chunk of money, material is going from bottom to top in the warehouse, and sometimes you are not able to fulfill the warehouse. So when we have a proper visibility, we can plan storage in a proper way. Next is the supply chain cost efficiency. If we are able to improve each and every steps, obviously it will bring efficiency in the entire system. Safety and compliance, like I was mentioning that if in a warehouse, if you are storing material from bottom to top, then we are compromising on safety. So it's a hazardous material. So if we have a right visibility by having a proper flexibility in the supply chain system, we are able to manage our inventories in a proper way, store in a proper way, move in a proper way, so that there will be less chances of any concern. And coordination, which is the most important, working together as a team with the supplier, upstream and downstream. So 6 trends now. Some of the trends which I feel is shaping in the chemical industry, the customer centricity. Now there's a lot of focus on the customers. Every customer have a different needs in terms of material, in terms of supply chains. Different customer have a different incoterms. Second is the sustainability. Everyone know how important it is, how we can move towards the green products. Post-driven supply chain, because now customer cannot wait for 2 months. See, earlier what was happening in some of the industry, it's made to order. So that what is happening, if you order and it is made, then it will be delivered in some months. The lead time become 2 to 3 months, depend on the geography which you are supplying. But now people are moving toward the made to stock also in chemical industry. Post-driven supply chain, when you have a stock, then only you can post. Next, the modernization. Modernization and digitization means that lots of improvement is happening in a supply chain. Lots of technological innovation is happening in WMS, TMS, planning, all those stuff. So lots of innovation happening. If you compare 10-year-old supply chain system and now there is a lots of innovation happening. And later, last is the capturing the new markets. So if you have a proper supply chain network, you can add on more geographies because it's a global world. It's not that you need to work within the particular boundary or particular state or country. You can sell your product all around the world. So some of the other thing which helping the chemical industry to grow is liberalization of a trade. So lots of liberalization is happening, lots of practice happening, lots of investment is happening in the transport infrastructure. Now we know that there is a logistics policy also came in India. Global sourcing is happening. So now countries are not, and we have seen a COVID time. So how one country can impact others. So it's a global, everyone is connected. So one product which we are using at home maybe arranged from a different countries. And advances in the transport technology. So I remember earlier we used to consider transportation means that filling the truck means loading, filling, and just moving and unloading. So there are lots of innovation are happening in technology, in terms of technology from transportation point of view. In terms of innovation, there is a delaying finalization which some of the paint company follow. So they make the product, major product, and customize based on the customer needs. So they don't need to hold a high inventory. They move the product at a customer nearby area. And for example, customer want a particular combination, they mix and give it to them. Asset light network. See, asset is in some of the industries very challenging because it's a lots of investment going in that. So companies are moving towards that to reduce the asset and optimize. And using using the data and applied intelligence in taking a decision. It's not on a gut feel. It's about the data. So what is happening in the market, different insight, different indexes available, trends available. So that help in making a decision. So that's it from my side. Thank you, audience, for hearing me.
Thank you, so very interesting. But two, three things I'll point out that I noticed during the presentation was one is the importance of flexibility in the supply chain that you were mentioning. We are also seeing it. There is a lot of commodization of chemicals, and unpredictable demands are coming up. So definitely flexibility in supply chain has become a norm, because this is what the pandemic also taught us, that flexibility is going to be the norm moving ahead. That is what companies are also planning for. Even logistics companies are planning for the same. Then integrating technologies, digital technology, regular technology, vehicle management technology, so much is coming up. Vendor performance, all these are going to get definitely integrated into the flexibility for the logistics, chemical logistics especially. And some of the benefits you mentioned were improving operational performance. That is important. Greater visibility and supply chain cost efficiencies. So finance, visibility, I think all of them go together. So flexibility definitely helps addressing all the pain points that are concerns, say, for the logistics companies as well as the chemical industries moving forward. And most important point that you noted out was customer loyalty. Now, if you bring in flexibility, you address issues and unpredictable demands and things like that. Customer loyalty, customer centricity becomes your main focus point, which is a good sweet spot to address in terms of, say, solution providers, logistic providers. It becomes a very important aspect to look into. Very interesting thing that you pointed out. It was very noteworthy for us also. Thank you. That brings me to the end of the session.